Hey guys, I want to do a holster review. Now I know I don't do a ton of holster reviews, and for good reason. I own, like a lot of people, a box of holsters. I think I easily have 4 or 5 holsters for each gun. And that's because, you tend to use them for different occasions, different methods of carry, different types of clothing, different times of year, yada, yada, yada. So I tend to avoid them because, I never really find a lot of holsters that are just good all-around holsters, but are also at a price that I think is affordable to most people. And I happen to find a holster that I really like, that I think is compatible with all kinds of clothing, all different types of year, is good quality, and I've been wearing it for a month, maybe a month and a half, and I'm really pleased with it, so I wanted to share it. And so I saved the holster review for the holsters that I really kind of fall in love with. And this one here is a Clinger holster. They are a pretty small company. There's like literally no reviews here on YouTube. I came across this on eBay, actually considering doing some site upgrades on the Glock 36. And this holster popped up in the search results, and the price on it was like $34 shipped. So I'm like, you know what? I need a holster inside the waistband for that gun. Why not give it a try? And I got this thing home, and I liked it. So I normally carry my LC9, so I switched it up. Started carrying this for about a month and a half, and man, this in my opinion is the best $35 holster I've bought. Now, Clinger holsters, they aren't paying me to do this. I didn't get this for free. I paid my own money for this and completely kind of unsolicited. So I don't want you to think this is some kind of paid review. But I picked this thing up, and there's a lot of things about this that you're getting out of a $35 holster that you don't usually get, which is kind of awesome. So, they have different, this is not the only model they have. This one here is called the Strong Side. It's part of their Stinger model, which is a small inside the waistband, has that little 15 degree FBI cant. They also have a couple different models they sell as well. Their choice of firearms that you can get holsters for is phenomenal. They have some of the best selection out there, and plus they make left-handed holsters. Holy crap, how tough is that? Some of my firearms, I struggle to find a left-handed holster because some people just don't make them. They don't want to take the time, they don't care. And I really like those companies that do take the extra time to offer their holsters in left-handed for every model. Some of them just do it for some and not others, and it can be a real pain. And some of them, like, you gotta, they ship you the holster, you gotta switch around the belt clip yourself, and it's not quite right, because obviously they didn't make it to be left-handed, they made it just to be kind of sort of reversible. This is a true left-handed holster, which automatically gives it points in my book. So what do you get? And of course, this is a thicker kydex than what you usually get. Most of my $35 holsters are a little on the thinner side. This is actually quite thick. It's got a full sweat guard, which you don't see. And plus, too, you can see, because it is thicker, there's not a lot of bend to that. A lot of the holsters I have, that sweat guard gets kind of bent in, or, because they're the thinner kydex. And so it is. It's a nice thick kydex. I love the bottom here, how it kind of grips the barrel. Some of them just leave that open. Part of the retention system is that it does grip the end of the barrel there, which I do like because it keeps it in place, whereas some just use tension on the trigger guard, some just use tension on the upper part of the slide. This uses, I believe, a combination of the trigger guard. It uses that front as a stop to kind of lock it in place, so it has a very good retention without having that snap effect of the trigger guard there. So it makes for a really, really smooth draw. I really enjoy that. Has a tensioning screw, which you typically don't get with your $35 holsters. That tends to be more in the higher price points. And this belt clip, man, this is what makes this holster, is this belt clip. Number one, you got that 15 degree cant, but it's in the middle of the firearm. It's not, some of them, when you get your holster, the clip tends to be right here along the slide. which makes your handle, your pistol grip, kind of push out because you're putting all your belt pressure over here, so it ends to kind of make your grip stick out of your shirt a little bit. This is a little more centered on the firearm, so it tends to push it in, and you don't have that effect where your grip can come out and kind of poke out to your shirt. The cutout is done properly for a left hand for the magazine release. How often does that happen? Like never. Sometimes people will forget about it, you know, because the blue guns they make these on, you know, they don't think about that. And so lots of times, you know, just those attention to detail things. This is what makes me happy. I've gotten holsters and had to return them because people actually put the Kydex right over the mag release, and makes it so you literally can't even put it in because they used a blue gun and they didn't, you know, they didn't pay attention. So one cool thing, you know, that they did pay attention to that. The clip, like I said, is kind of centered in the center. It's in the center here, so it gives it a very good straight push against your hip, and keeps that handle from the grip from kind of cocking outwards. The clip is nice and thick as well. Lots of them tend to be really thin and snappy, you know, so you get a little bit of movement and slide when it's on your belt. Not this thing. This thing is very, very solid. It's kind of neat too, because as you can see, the part that attaches to your belt is a little bit canted back towards you, which gives it a nice pinch on the belt and holds it in place nicely. It also has that little V-notch, so putting this thing on and off your belt is a breeze. It's actually real easy to put on, especially when you're not looking, you're not paying attention. But if you want to take it off as well, you can literally just grab that, pull it out. So, I mean, they really put a lot of thought into this, and it really is one of those holsters, you know, if it's on your belt, you can take it on and off without a ton of effort. You can holster, reholster, it doesn't collapse on itself. The retention's really good. You know, it's adjustable. I haven't had to adjust it, but it's not going anywhere. It's very good, and it's a very smooth draw. It's firm, but you can hear it. You know, there's definitely some nice friction there, and even if it loosens up over time, you got that adjustment screw. So I got a dirty old pair of my pants here to kind of show you how this fits onto a pair of pants with a typical 1.5 inch belt loop. As you can see, that snaps on there really decent, and there's very little movement when you as you can see, I'm kind of shaking this around here. Yeah, there's a little bit of movement, but for the most part, the actual belt clip fits a 1.5 inch belt. Holy crap, that's another huge complaint and nitpick I have, is all these people make these 1.5 inch clips, but they're either too big or too small for belts. You know, they never seem to be true to size. And this one here actually is properly 1.5 inches, and I think part of that is that kind of canted little bit of a back hook there, which kind of rests it up in there and really keeps it. But you know, when you have a thicker belt, there's not a ton of space. Some of these, you know, they tend to be, but yeah, it's just that perfect amount of space. You know, you can move it, you can adjust it, but it's not flopping all over. Some of these really have poor belt retention. This has excellent belt retention. So I wanted to point that out. This just, if you have a decent leather belt, this thing sticks on very well. Let's pull this off so you can take a look. Of course, it's going to give me a hard time on camera. Wouldn't be a Bushcraft 412 video if something didn't go wrong. All right. So let's talk about experience here. Like I said, I've been carrying this probably a month and a half. Been very pleased with it so far. Like I said, this thing is very stable on your hip. If you're wearing this, it's very stable. It doesn't move around a lot. It fits in very close to the body. A lot of these single clip Kydex do tend to move around a little bit on me. They tend to wiggle around. This thing's very stable, very sturdy, great retention. It's adjustable. There's so many things in a $35 holster here that you don't get unless you spend $45 or $50. So I think this is one of the real bargains of the internet. and they do sell them on their website. They also sell them on eBay, which is where I found this. But really just glad I found this thing. It made carrying the Glock 36 fun again, and I've been carrying it more and more as opposed to the LC9, which is kind of cool. And you know, it's not putting any unusual wear on the firearm. I mean, nothing new. Anything that's been there is just holster wear from before, so there's no new wear that I'm noticing, which is always a plus as well. And overall, just very, very happy with it, guys. This is a neat little company putting things out at a great price. I don't see any issues with the fit and finish. As you can see, everything's nice and rounded over. There's no sharp edges. The sweat guard's nice and rounded, even kind of chamfered a little bit, you know, so they're not sharp and poking into your hip. I mean, where do you go wrong? This is one heck of a company for the money, guys, and that's why I kind of had to do a video on it. I know I skip a lot of my holster videos, but like I said, you know, I can't do a video for every holster I kind of meh about, but this made carrying the 36 fun again, and real happy with it, just how stable it is. The stability is the biggest pro. This thing just very stable on the hip, very stable on the belt. It rides at a really nice height, you know, so that you pretty much, you know, when you have it on, you have just enough to kind of grab it when it's in your pants, just enough grip sticking out, that nice height, you know, right in the middle there, and very stable, you know. Took many a poop and never had any issues with the gun sliding around or sliding out. Overall, quite a deal. So hope you guys enjoyed the Klinger strong side Stingray holster.